everyone, my name is Tyler Oakley, and today I am doing another Q&A, but this day has a twist because I am going to start doing a lot more Q&As that are kind of subject or theme oriented. Today's theme is college and university. So I went to university a couple years ago at Michigan State University, and it was an amazing experience, so I felt like I should tell you all about it. So let's dig into your questions, shall we? Connor would like to know, was it weird being a YouTuber in college? Kind of, yes, sometimes. Like when my residents, when I was an RA, knew about it, that was weird. But a lot of the times it was really great. Like I got to meet a lot of people, I got a lot of internships from it, I got some jobs from it. Sometimes, like I said, it was a little awkward, like when people knew where I lived in the dorms. That was strange. But a lot of it, honestly, was like kind of an uphill battle because at the time, nobody knew what YouTube was. There were not that many people that were doing what I was doing. Like it was brand new, YouTube wasn't really a thing yet. And so I kind of had to explain it a lot of times. But I remember one time in specific that was really cool, and I actually have it with me. I'm such a dork that I still have this. But my school newspaper at Michigan State did an entire article about me, and they put me like right on the front. Communication sophomore Tyler Oakley video blogs, also known as vlogging on youtube.com. And it was just cool because like it was the first time that like there was a publication that like recognized what I was doing and was curious about it and wanted to know more, but was not judgmental. So that was awesome. Thank you to the State News for believing in me back in the day when I had nobody believing in me. Another really interesting moment was when I was at a football game and I heard that there were 75,000 people there. It was completely sold out, and I had just passed 75,000 people that were subscribed to me. So that was insane to me that I could reach all these people and that could fill this entire football stadium. Trinity would like to know, was I a nerd or a jock? What do you think, Trinity? Like, honestly, the jockiest thing that I did, me and my girlfriend, not my girlfriend, but like my girlfriend, we would go over to the gym and we would stay and do the elliptical right above where all the weights were, and we would just check out guys while we were like ellipticaling and doing nothing with our lives and just checking out boys. So that's about as sporty as I got. Christina says, you said that you have paid for college all by yourself. How did you manage that, and did you take out loans? Yes, I took out loans. I took out a lot of loans, but I also saved up in high school. I had multiple jobs on campus while I was at university. I was a telemarketer, was an RA, which deducts a lot of costs when it comes to living and food. But yes, I did have to take out loans, and there's nothing wrong with taking out loans, but it just kind of sucks. You can also live from home, or you can also go to community college. A lot of the courses that you need to take for university are going to be so much more cheap at a community college. So you can do that, or even taking time off between high school and college to save up. There's so much you can do to save money if you don't want to take out loans, but I chose to go straight from high school to college and just work my butt off to make it happen. Maheen would like to know, do you recommend buying books brand new or buying them used? So a lot of professors are going to tell you you have to buy books brand new. Usually you do not. If there's a new edition, it's probably because they changed literally probably like a chapter or a page. So that's usually $150 per book. There's usually 3 per class. You're usually taking 5 classes a semester-ish, and you have 8 semesters. So you do the math on how much that is going to cost you. It's a lot of money. So back when I was in college, I would use Slug Books, and it's basically you get your syllabus, you see the list of books, and it'll show you where you can get those books for the cheapest. So sometimes it's Amazon, sometimes it's Chegg, sometimes it's, you know, wherever it'll be, it'll show you where you can get those for the cheapest. And that's how I saved so much money. Tuition is bad, but it's the day-to-day books that you have to buy that just kind of eat you alive. There were times when I had $100 in my bank account and I didn't have the money to go and get the books. So slugbooks.com really helped. Marissa would like to know, what should a high school student expect when they're going off to college? Expect costs, expect amazing experiences if you let yourself have them, expect amazing new friends if you let yourself go and meet them. Expect to gain weight, expect to be poor, expect to date and hook up and get in trouble for a lot of things that you can possibly do on campus, expect to put yourself outside of your comfort zone. Breno would like to know, tell us about a college sweetheart if you had one. So, oh god, my first boyfriend I will tell you about because I just spent New Year's with him. We dated when we were like 18, so we were just like babies then. It took some time in between us dating for us to finally become friends again, but he's of course like a special person in my heart. So I went to Chicago for New Year's, I spent some time with him and his new boyfriend, and I don't know what you want me to say. I put up a video on my second channel, youtube.com/extratyler, all about my New Year's, and he's in it, so you can go check that out. But I'm not gonna talk about it here. Taylor would like to know, what did your dorm room look like? Most of my videos from when I was in college are still live and public, so if you want to go see what my life was like then, you can go check that out if that's what you want to do with your night. Marissa wants to know, was it hard to stay away from food in the freshman 15? Yes, but the big culprit is gonna be alcohol. You will gain weight because of alcohol, because you're drinking, and that is a lot of calories, and you don't think about that when you're consuming a lot of alcohol. I gained some weight, you know. Still working it off, it's fine. Courtney wants to know, what was my favorite memory as an RA? So I was an RA, which is basically you babysit your entire floor, you're in charge of your floor. I was an RA for 3 years, and all in the same building. I had a co-ed floor every year, and I was the cool RA, I was fun. I was stern, I would write people up, but like, I was pretty easygoing, go with the flow. I didn't care much about like the little things. One of my favorite memories of being an RA, I was on duty, which means you go through the halls and make sure everybody's alive and nobody's like crazy or dying or drunk or whatever. Once we saw a couple residents with a hamster in the room, and you're not allowed to have animals in the dorms. And usually you just say, okay, have somebody come, pick up your animal, and you're good to go. You won't get written up. But I was gonna mess with these kids that night, and I told them, I'm so sorry about your hamster, but we have to take it and throw it down the garbage chute. Just to fuck with them, because that's the type of person I am. And then they started crying, so I had to like calm the situation before I got in trouble for lying to a resident. But clearly I didn't throw it down the garbage chute, but how funny would that have been? Honestly, I thought I was so funny. Vinny would like to know, were you a good boy in college? What do you think? Larson would like to know, what was your major in college? I majored in communication with a specialization in interpersonal communication, focuses in marketing and PR. I also taught as a TA public speaking, which was a great opportunity. I got like credits for that, and I got to work on my own public speaking skills, which I use all the time now. I go to universities and I talk. I ended up using my degree a lot. I took jobs in social media as soon as I left college, and now that is like my life. Casey wants to know, what was your first college party like? I don't remember. If anything tells you what it was like, I think that's it. Isabel wants to know, did a lot of people judge you in college? No, yes and no. I mean, there's always gonna be people that are like assholes, but I remember once somebody wrote faggot on my door to my dorm room in Sharpie. That was like not a good moment. Haley wants to know, what is the best prank you pulled in college? I did some stuff. I was dating this guy once, and we once wrapped every single thing in his room in wrapping paper, and that was funny. Like literally everything, every single article of clothing, every single thing on his desk, wrapping paper. So he gets back and it's like a whole shrine of wrapping paper laden things. Alex wants to know, what was my drunkest memory in college? One night, my freshman year, I remember my last memory of that night was taking a shot of Pop-Off, which is vodka, disgusting, like $4 a liter, and then chasing it with cherry Smirnoff, and that was not a good experience because I woke up the next day with Sharpie all over my face and puke all over my shirt, and I had to walk all the way across campus all the way back to my dorm room, so that was probably the drunkest I've ever been. I don't advise you to do anything like that. Learn from my mistake, kids. Caitlin wants to know, what were my favorite and least favorite subjects? My least favorite was probably philosophy. I was so bad, I even had to get a tutor, which I kind of exaggerated how bad I was at because my tutor was really cute. And it was very like Mean Girls Aaron Samuels at the library, and I was acting dumber than I was and be like, oh, can you like explain that again? Just so I could spend more time with him. My favorite subjects? I don't know. I remember I loved Hebrew. I had to take a semester of a language, so I just randomly took Hebrew, and that was really fun. My last class of university that my graduation depended on was wine tasting, of all things, and it was an online class, so you had to like play at home as you were like studying, so it was a good time. I almost didn't pass. I was not good at that. My friend Advil would like to know, what was my most awkward romantic or sexual or relationship thing that happened to me in college? So I had like 2 major boyfriends. One was like my freshman year, and then the other was my junior, senior year. So during my sophomore year, I did a lot of dating, for better or for worse. I learned a lot about myself and about gays, but there was one guy, I feel bad like talking crap about him because he meant well. He picked me up for a date and he gave me a rose from his mom's garden, and it was the first date, and he told me that, and I was just like, Thank you. So, and like I said, there's nothing wrong with that if you're watching and that's like you, or if it actually was you. I'm sure you will find the perfect man who will just like leap out of his skin for that. But it was not me, and good luck to you. I'm so sorry. Nicola would like to know, what is the best advice you can give somebody who doesn't necessarily know what they want to do? You can go to college still and be undecided. That is like probably one of the biggest misconceptions about leaving high school and going to college is that you have to pick your major. You can spend like the first year and a half, 2 years taking all of the general classes that everybody has to take and be undecided. Like that's a thing. Alex wants to know, did I like my roommate and was I nervous to meet him? Yes, I loved him. His name was David. I got the letter that said his name and where he was from, and I was a little nervous because like Texas, and I'm clearly very gay, and so it was a little intimidating. So we friended each other on Facebook, and I remember talking to him online, and he was telling me, I remember that for fun, him and his friends would drive close to the road after a big storm and ski attached to a truck on the mud next to the road. And I was just thinking, oh my gosh, what am I getting myself into? But it was a great experience. Like I couldn't have asked for anybody better. We got along perfectly. We were not like best friends, but like we got along and we worked. Like it worked out. I think the best thing you can possibly do is to go in blind if you're going to live in the dorms. If you go into university with somebody that you already know, you're gonna spend all of your time with them and you're never gonna meet anybody else. You're never gonna go out of your comfort zone. And so when I went in blind, even though it was a little bit terrifying, I really stepped out of who I was and got to meet 10 times more many people. So that is all I have for you guys in this Q&A video. If you have any other questions, tweet them to me, message me on Tumblr, put it on my Facebook wall, let's connect, I will help you out. And like I said, college or university is not for everybody. It was for me, I really liked it. So hopefully this Q&A helped you out. If it did, give it a thumbs up because it lets me know if you liked it. And if I answered any of the questions that you had about the experiences, let me know by pushing the thumbs up. And if there's any more Q&A themes or subjects that you want me to do, let me know in the comments below. And I think that's all I have for you guys today. Have a good life, and I will see you guys next time. And until then, later.